Brace yourself, sports and music fans, because every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Arizona time is go time. Introducing one of the hottest, most entertaining, and downright addictive podcasts you'll ever need. PD&J was good today. Hosted by none other than J-Dub the King and Pocket. These two dynamic personalities will keep you on the edge of your seat with their unique blend of humor, storytelling, and knowledge of sports and entertainment. And you know what makes it even better? They're live on YouTube and Facebook, so you can join the conversation and be a part of the action. We're always on the lookout for awesome guests to join us on the show. So if you think you've got what it takes to hang out with J-Dub the King and Pocket, then slide into our inbox at J-Dub the King. That's JDUBBTHAKING. And let's make some magic together. So what are you waiting for? You don't want to miss a single episode. See you on Wednesday.
Are you a business owner or someone looking for more ways and avenues to advertise and promote? Look no further. Contact us today for an advertisement. Email PD&J Media Productions LLC at gmail.com for more info. Promotions are everything. What are you waiting for?
We're live! What's good? What's good? What's good, folks? It's a brand new week, brand new Wednesday, so you know what that means. Brand new episode of PD&J. What's good today? Where I'm your host, Jay.
You're your host, Jay.
I'm your host.
You're their host. Because you're not my host.
I'm yours, theirs, everybody's.
You're not my host.
I'm everybody.
I'm my host. You know what my host is? Me. Pocket D. What it be? How y'all doing, folks? If we sound like we're on one, he's on one.
I'm having a great
I
week.
want two.
I'm having an awesome week. Thank you for everybody that's been downloading, streaming. You gonna know me. We running numbers up. Everything looking good. A lot of stuff is in the works too, so make sure you stay tuned. But salute to everybody out there. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate it.
But you're not doing it enough. I'm just saying. That's all I'm gonna say. Or is it?
It's never enough. Get it. Run it up.
Yep.
Put it on your playlist. Listen to it every day.
Put it in your rotation, put it on the random, put it on the single, listen to it, download it, slow it down, speed it up. I don't care. Make your own remix, send it in, let them hear it. Maybe we'll get shots out. Let's do this because I mean, you don't hear me have to promote much music, do you? You don't hear me have to say play something. I'm saying. So do it.
We're gonna run it up. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into the show. Pocket, how you doing, man?
Oh, if these HOAs will leave me alone, or I'm sorry, HOAs will leave me alone. I'll be just fine. I apologize to all the other whole gardening tools, specialty tools. I apologize if I offended you. HOAs, you're supposed to mute me, man.
No, I'm not. I'm letting you have this one.
HOAs. So, yes, it's a hot spot. It's a hot spot for a lot of us. A lot of y'all that watch, a lot of us that don't watch, a lot of us that stream, whatever. It's a huge issue.
Those who don't know what a HOA is, let's break it down a little bit.
A HOA.
Stop using that word. So, HOA. You know I can see you, right?
Okay.
I can see
You close the door.
you. So HOA stands for Homeowners Association. They're, in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, a bunch of cops. It's a bunch of thieves, actually.
So they were supposed to be for the community, right? Taking care of the community, and then somebody decided, you know what? Let's extend this a little bit further. What I consider the HOA is, and if you are one, please put it in the comments. Let me know if I'm wrong. I feel like they are a bunch of people that want to be politicians, but can't. Because they want to make decisions and bylaws and Bill of Rights, but they can't do anything that affects the whole, so they affect some of their own community. So how do I feel about that? The host. I can't. You told me I can't say that.
You can't.
What can I say?
H.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, H-O-A. Ho up. Ho-A.
No, we're not.
Ho-A. Ho-A.
No.
Get them away. Get away. Ho-A. Go away.
Sounds like you're sounding like Jose. Shout out to Jose anyway, our elotes man. He hooked us up today. Shout out to him.
Yes, he did. I needed one probably for a while. But come on, HOA is really, and the reason why I'm indifferent right now. So, as you know, with the HOA, if you make changes to your home for some odd reason, the home you pay on that they have no guns to, you got to prove something to them.
No, back up. Before you even get to that far, you got to pay an HOA fee.
Yeah,
every month. You're paying the HOA fee,
quarterly or however it's worked out.
However it's worked out. Some it's included in their mortgage. But you got to start paying that. My question is, do you see any developments in your community? Or
do you see any community activities? Do you see, well, because we got on ours, they actually clean the community. They have somebody come out and clean it. But again, you still, some of these areas in the community, you see the lights out. Fix it. What are we paying you an HOA fee for?
Actually, it's not even on the HOA. It gets fixed for free from the city.
Yeah, but the HOA, when you reach out to them, what are they supposed to do?
You know what our HOA says? Reach out to the city.
What I'm saying is, if I pay you, you do
it. Some don't work that way.
But what they better start doing something, because I tell you what, if everyone in every community automatically put stop payment on the HOA, what are they gonna do? If it's one or two people, yeah, they'll take you to court, maybe get you kicked out of the community.
I'm gonna let Pocket go on a rant real quick. This elotes is damn good.
So. But if we all unite and say, you know what, we've had enough, and we don't do it, see, people forget how much power people have. Now, and I'll just leave it at that. Think about it. Y'all can cancel somebody, per se. Or yet to be determined.
Yet to be determined.
No, because they have canceled some people.
Who?
Okay, let's go back. So let's see. Do we hear R. Kelly's music that much anymore?
You know what? I'm so glad that you brought him up.
No, but just.
I'm gonna ask you the question.
He's not the only one I'm gonna go to.
But I'm glad that you brought him up. Do I hear R. Kelly as much anymore? It's a yes or no, and depends on where I'm at and who's around.
That answers the question.
It's a 50-50 to me. Like,
no, I don't hear it as much. I'm just gonna say like, no.
You don't. I have.
Like,
not as much like him being on the radio and getting a new joint or whatever the case may be, but
what's up, man? I see somebody feeling me today. You know what I'm saying? So like we ain't the same. We speak in the same too. People don't want to say it. Like, come on, y'all. These HOAs, man, they do too much. They do too much. They act like they have power when they really have none. Because you go to court over certain things against them, and guess what the court's gonna say? You know what? Actually, you're right. They can't stop you from doing it. But who wants to do that?
Yeah, like at the end of the day, you got to go through HOA to approve the paint that goes on your house. You can't have it sky blue.
Because not anywhere else in the community is it sky blue. Well, you know what? If everybody in the community makes it sky blue, what you gonna do?
Have a plane run into you?
I believe we're upside down.
Yeah, that would be awesome. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. You got
like,
you got a very deep sense of humor, my friend.
People look up like, wait, are we upside? What? Are we upside down?
Somebody come get this, man. No, so how do you guys, well, let me pose this question. Do you guys approve of HOA communities? Let's just be real. Do you guys approve them? Are there benefits to having an HOA community?
I was about to say, there may be some communities that actually do what they're supposed to do. And they do things the way they're supposed to do it. But as far as what I've seen personally, they're doing too much of the wrong stuff. Too much of the wrong stuff. And when I say that, I mean it in the aspect of community should be your focus, not the one weed that sits on my yard. And you know what? You tell me that, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the, you want to take a picture of that? I'm going to go take a picture of the common area that you should be taking care of. Why are there homeless people living in my common area where my kids go to school? Don't tell me to call the city, because guess what? It's an HOA community. So you should be calling the police. You should be handling that situation, not me.
Sounds like he was affected by something like that.
No, I wasn't. I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Sounds a little bit personal.
It sounds personal because guess what? When people say it to us, guess what I'm going to do? I ain't going to hold back. I'm going to bring it out so everybody can see and see who else is being affected by that.
Let's talk about this right here. The homeowners association will run up a bunch of fines and then put a lien on your property.
Yes, they will.
Here's the problem that I have with the HOA community, because I live in the HOA. Just like let's use your example of the weed, right? I would get real personal real quick. Like, who does their weed? Who does their front yard every month? If not me, right?
You got one weed to make it.
It shouldn't make a big deal. Why am I getting fined $75 for a weed, maybe 2 weeds, that you have to walk up on my property to take a picture of?
To see.
Let's be real.
Wait, you got to think this. Walk up on private property to take a picture of, because they can't just see it from the curb. They got to walk up driveway, or walk on your rocks,
walk around the rocks. Yeah. No good.
The HOA is like the Senate and the House right now. Usually.
No, you know what HOAs remind me of? Stupid ass preachers, stupid ass church leaders.
Oh, you mean, actually, you know what? I like to say the worship leaders, most importantly, because they're the ones that set the tone, and a lot of these worship leaders getting out of hand. They sit there calling people broke. They're not in your flock, your congregation. You're supposed to set the tone for the speaker. When he comes up, everybody should already be in high praise in worshiping God. When the speaker comes up, they should be open and ready to hear the word. You're calling them broke. You had one whose son was the worship leader that called the people all kinds of broken names, and y'all ain't doing enough for me. He didn't do anything to his son per se. At that point, he waited until after the service. However, there was an incident very similar where the person was worshiping, the worship leader was doing some kind of ad-lib or freestyle and called the people broke, that the pastor came up before he was introduced and said, wait a minute, hold up. Let me talk to y'all, because this is a live recording and I want to say this live. I ain't going to wait. Y'all not going to come after me when something was said and calling y'all broke. He's like, I'm going to tell y'all ain't broke. He's like, I know y'all sow seeds all the time. How am I going to ask you for $20 of a seed and after somebody called you broke? I'd be stupid. He's like, and I know when some of y'all heard what he said, y'all were like, this nigga. And he said this in the pulpit. I laughed my butt off. Like, that was a true pastor right there. He corrected him. He apologized to his flock, and he tried to heal them right there. But also, he was being a realist, because he was probably the one saying, this nigga here, he done lost his mind.
Here's the problem that I have. 2 things, real quick. One, the problem that I have with today's church and nowadays church, and truly chime in if you agree with me or not here. There's too many false flags. And when I say false flags, I'm talking about this comes from a street persona, let's say. Okay, it's all a hustle. And that's what I'm breaking down to. You got too many church leaders, and I'm not talking about just pastors. Your deacons, your deaconesses, your assistant and associated pastors. Like, at the end of the day, they're false flags, and I have a big problem with that, because you're not there for the people. Second thing I wanted to say was I saw a video today, and it kind of broke broke it down to me in the essence of this. Jesus was a carpenter, right? Joseph was a carpenter, right? Peter he was well, you get where I'm getting at. They had occupations, they had trade.
It wasn't just about occupation. Here's the thing. I thought you were going to go here. The 12 disciples, all of them had faults, from liars to thieves to killers, and they were still disciples. So I get that. But a lot of these pastors haven't gone through anything to be able to profess to the people. A lot of these pastors, they see the glory and the glitz, but they don't have the war wounds. And that's what to speak to the flock. You haven't experienced anything to sit there and talk about anything. Not saying that you have to go through something, but
you got to go through something.
But you should have had some sort of struggle at some point in time.
What's your testimony? But what I was going to say with that video, yeah, like I say, Joseph, Jesus, Peter, Paul, they all had certain trades, certain occupations, right? Nowadays, pastors are relying on the congregation.
And now I will say this, though. There are some that out there that had an occupation at some time, but as their churches grew, they had to put all their effort into the church. Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying is
few and far between.
Yeah, and when you have those that are just basically, and then you have the ones that you have your deacons out there saying, "Hey, y'all are broke, y'all are this, y'all are that." Well, that lets me know you're a thief. I'm just going to call it what it is.
Call a spade a spade.
You're a thief. If you're looking at my occupation and calling me broke, but you don't have an occupation, but you're relying on my occupation to feed your habit, you're a thief. And I say that correctly, with the habit. Because there's a lot of pastors out there. Oh, did you hear about the pastor that he was had a mistress? And the mistress came out with that he was pregnant, right?
Time out. You know how prevalent that story is with a lot of pastors. So you want to point out just one.
This one right here.
You're talking about the one that came in the church and threw a fit?
No. It was the pregnant. The lady that, yeah. So she came into the church, right? Threw a fit talking about she's pregnant while he was preaching. And got into it with the first lady, had to be escorted. The congregation was like, "You got to step down." He said that he ain't stepping down for nothing.
And what's bad about it, they had a meeting, an actual bishop's cabinet meeting, where they said, "You need to step down." He said, "I ain't doing nothing. I built this from scratch. I'll tear it down." So you know what the first thing I thought was? Either you have another hustle on the side, because all you're doing is hustling these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all you're doing is hustling. And what's happening, as I said, there'll be many false prophets. Yes, we know New Testament.
And
it goes beyond that. It goes beyond. I'm not saying end times. That's used way too. That's been used for the past 4 years. We're in the end times. I'm not using that either. What I'm saying is, you that allow this to happen are the problem.
Now, PK, we're in the day and age of the scam artists, right? Like, going back to this statement right here, it's all a hustle, right? People are getting hustled out of their souls right now. Just think about it. People are getting hustled out of their souls. And it makes no sense to me, because at the end of the day, the word is for you to interpret and how God speaks to you. Don't let, like you were saying, don't let somebody that has not gone through anything that can say they have a testimony be an inspiration to you if they have nothing to inspire you with. Make sense?
Well, here's another thing that you just mentioned about your soul, your spiritual soul, your spirit. First of all, if you want to sit here, and I can understand people are hungry for the word, and that's a problem. And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute, about the word too. But here's the thing. If you go to a church and your spirit is uneasy, you can tell your spirit is uneasy. Don't ignore it. People say it's your stomach. No, sometimes it's not your gut feeling. It's your spirit telling you something. Your gut is going to go wherever your gut goes. It's just what it is. But if your spirit feels uneasy, if your spirit feels not at rest, that means that is not your church home. It's okay. It happens.
Have you ever been swallowed?
Well, did you hear the other one where this pastor comes up? I have not seen If somebody
If
has
you go to a church and they say that to you, please turn away.
well, okay, well now I'm gonna say that, and y'all gonna take time. Some people may want to get swallowed. And not only that, I'm gonna take you to another. This is where I'm going to. There was another pastor recently that sat there. His sermon says he's a meat stretcher. Look at your neighbor and tell him he's a meat stretcher. I'm like, what in the heck am I watching?
Oh Lord,
what is happening to the church? He's a meat stretcher and you're getting swallowed up.
And that was where I was getting at with everything I was saying. At the end of the day, if you're dealing with the thief in the church, you're not in the church. Get out.
But your soul is
going to church anymore.
Your spirit is going to tell you if that's your right church. A lot of times it's not your church home, but you keep forcing yourself to go there. If you struggle to get together on Sunday morning to go to the church that you've been going to, a lot of times that's because your soul's not being fed. Your spirit is not being fed correctly. That means your shepherd is not leading you to the right pastor. That's what that means. That means you have to do your own research. It's okay to shop around in different churches. It's okay to go church hopping until your soul becomes at rest. Sometimes you have to go to a church more than once. But if you're going Sunday after month after month, after 6 months, after 8 months, after a year, you're sowing a seed in this church, but your spirit's still telling you.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think there's too many pastors and too many churches that's out there right now? Do you think the game, like we go back to the statement right here, it being a hustle, do you think that this market has been oversaturated with phonies and fakes?
So here's the problem. There's not enough.
Good ones. I would agree with you. True ones.
Listen to me. There's not enough because people are not being able to decipher what's false and what's true.
And that's what I was getting at as far as with me. I would agree with you. There's not enough true leaders.
No, that's not enough. See what you're not understanding. What I said, I'm not talking about true. You're adding that true part.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's not enough because here's the thing. There's not enough for people to compare what's true and what's not.
But when you have so many fakes and false ones out there, you need somebody that is true.
So what determines a fake or a false? Because of what we see on social media?
No, like you said, if you walk into a church, if you've been to 5 different churches in a month and you're seeing an issue, there's something going on. Like you said, if you go to a church more than once and your soul is not being fed there, that's not the church for you. That might be for somebody else. However, within our community, we have, how can I put this?
Crab in the barrel mentality.
It goes to that, but I'm thinking of where we got the Creflo Dollars, the Bishop Eddie Longs, and we look down on that.
Bishop Eddie Long.
We look so down on individuals that take advantage of people within our own community that we can't even go to our church leaders in our community. You see what I'm saying?
True. You're going down. I'm getting there, man. I was getting to that. The kingdom of God within you, but at the same time, the kingdom can be within you, but it's not growing, it's not flourishing, and that's the point that we're getting to. Yes, the kingdom of God is in us. A lot of times, people can say, "I don't need to go to church." Okay, because you get your ministry from music, you get your ministry from watching it on TV or streaming it live. That's totally fine. But there's a slew of Christians or borderline believers that are looking for the real word of God. This is why I think there's not enough out there, because there's not enough to compare to. I can't go off what I can't see Facebook, Instagram, social media. I can't go off that, because guess what?
That's you, but somebody else is.
There you go.
Somebody else is, and that's the problem. That's the problem that I have, because when you have that borderline Christian that's looking, okay, they've gone through string churches, they've gone through this, they've gone through that, but then you got that one person that's wanting and ready to commit, right?
But here's the thing. Okay.
And then all of a sudden you see this stuff on social media, and it's like, hold on a second, maybe I need to look into this a little bit more. You know what I mean? You get those type of people, and that's what's sad. That's where I'm getting at. That where we need more true, genuine leaders, church leaders. We're talking specifically, and stop having that crab in the barrel mentality, because I see it everywhere. Within the music industry, within personal situations, and even in church. Like, how do you have a crab in a barrel mentality in church?
Getting to that crab in a barrel mentality within church, crab in a barrel mentality. So when crabs in a barrel, what happens? What actually happens? Have you seen what happens? What happens?
Good.
No, I'm asking, what happens with a crab? And when actually not the actual figurative saying, when the actual literal meaning of the figurative meaning is basically you're stopping on top of each other, right? But if you actually look at crabs in a barrel, what do they do?
What do they do?
They work together to get out of the barrel.
Not all of them.
They work together to get out of. Do your Google search, do your YouTube videos. They will show you will see the crabs linking together because they don't want to be in that barrel. They're linking together, helping each other get out of that barrel. If there's one or two that don't, fine. But guess what? The majority want to get out, so guess what they're going to do? They're going to work together to get out. So what does that mean as far as church? If you can see, you can feel, use your they say we don't have a sixth sense, which I never believed that. I believe we all have a sixth sense. Just that everybody's in tune with it at every point in time. What does that mean? You can see a crab in a barrel mentality within that church. You can see people that just sit there all the time. The songs could be nice. They may do like this every once in a while. They may clap their hands every once in a while. But then guess what? They're just rolling their eyes. They're doodling. They're doing everything. That means they got a crab. They're there because they're there. They're not there to get fed. They're just there because they have to be there. They're there to get fine. As was it Marshawn Lynch would say, I'm just here. This is what I do every Sunday. I come to this church. Is there nothing that what are you looking for when you come to that church? That's the question you have to ask. And not only somebody asking someone else, but internally, you need to ask yourself, I keep getting up to come here every Sunday. Why do I do this?
Let me ask you a question. Honestly, do you feel like you need, and some people are like this, some people aren't, right? Do you feel like in order to be fed and be able to have that proper fellowship and everything that comes with that, you need to be in a church setting? Or do you feel like the word says, as long as two or more are gathered in my name, I'll be there in the midst, right? Which one do you think feeds the spirit more? Because like I said, you have some that are like that. I'm here because I have to be here, and this is how my spirit gets fed, whether I'm into it or not. But I'm here, right? Then you got some who's all like, okay, well, I read the Bible and I'm talking to you about this, and you're talking to me about this, and we're talking to each other about this. We come up with a common understanding of what this is, and we live by that standard, right? Which one do you think works out better?
That's with it. They can both work out. It's not going to be one better than the other. It just depends on the person themselves. You have some people, like you said, are very educated in theologies. That's what they call it, theology. They're educated in the Bible, educated in
religious history.
Yeah. So, and they feel like what they need to do is they can sit there and talk to somebody else that is either on their level or above their level or whatever it may be, and that's their church. That's what they have to do. Then you have the others that they constantly every week, Monday to Friday.
Right there. He said it. You can tell who's on point by the fruits they produce. Period.
Well, here's the thing. Some people produce spoiled fruit.
That's what he's saying at the same time.
No, what I'm saying is that
both sides of the coin.
Right.
You either going to produce good fruit or spoiled and rotten fruit. And that's through the seeds that you sow. Karma is a mother.
Now, here's the thing. You still need to sow the seed. Now, here's something else that stay in the scripture, since we want to stay in there. Here's what people have to understand. There's a scripture that says faith without works is what?
Dead.
Right. Now, do people understand that? No.
How could you not? It's simple.
No, it's not as simple as you think. Because what is faith?
Faith is basically your Okay, I see where you're going because it depends on who you talk to. Their definition of faith could be different or whatever case may be. But my definition of faith is me literally taking a chance, standing out on the word of God, standing on the faith of God, knowing that He got me taken care of.
One thing I did not hear you say in that whole thing, that regardless of your standing out in the faith of God, faith starts with prayer. It always starts with prayer. Anytime you want change in your life, what do? You pray to God. Pray to Allah. You pray to whoever your religious figure is. And you ask them for the guidance. You pray for the breakthrough. You pray for whatever it is you want. And guess what? That helps. That puts, as they say, faith is the key that unlocks the door. So there's your key. You have your key. You started to pray. That's your key. Now, you're going to go to the door. You put that key in there. Oh, well, I guess that wasn't it for me. God didn't break through for me, so I guess that's it. Right? Because that door didn't open. Does He give you one door? Or do we have the freedom of choice? And also, there's that too, isn't it? Just because one door doesn't open doesn't mean there's not many. You got to go through. You keep praying. You keep praying. Because a lot of times what people do, they only pray. And I kind of hinted at it. They only pray when they need, or not when they need, but when they want something. Or when things have faltered, and now all of a sudden you got to go back and start praying again. Because you know what happens? He gives us the freedom of choice. He gave us the freedom of choice. We've always had it since the beginning of man. Go back to Adam and Eve. Freedom of choice. Bit that fruit, didn't we? We tried to blame it on Eve, but ultimately it falls on Adam. That's another segment. And guess what happened? Because of his choices, we have the freedom of choice. God gave us that. It's up to us. We've got different roads to take. We can take all of them and they'd be wrong. And the one that's good has been the one we've tried to avoid the whole time. Now what happens? People go to these false prophets, these false preachers. I just need you to help me get it. Well, you know what? If you sow your 10%, matter of fact, if you give me an extra $200 in your 10%, I believe God will open that door. You know what's happening right now, folks? You know what's happening right now. I'm going to say this, and somebody's going to be a little uneasy. Do you see how many revivals are happening? What's in line with right now?
I've seen a revival in over 10 years.
Oh, they're happening because they're happening online all the time. You want to know what's going on? You should put what time of the year?
I haven't seen a church rocking. I haven't seen a church revival. I haven't seen a women's ministry movement. I haven't seen a men's ministry or a married couples ministry movement like them actually doing something.
An actual movement, no, but they all
10 years. Movement is wrong. What I'm saying is that within churches, you know how they have married couples retreats or women's retreat and the men's retreat, the kids retreats, or you got revival weekend this and power Sunday that. I haven't seen that in 10 years, bro.
But it still happens. I've seen it. But here's the thing: just follow with what's going on right now. Right now, what is happening? What time of year is it where all this starts happening?
Boom. He said right here, they're gonna go to the house to heal or to help the others heal. Some of them
go for not so pious reasons. But hear me out, truly. Right now, what time of the year is it? It's the end of January. What's the big time? February is when you're gonna see all the Facebook and Instagram posts about revival. Why? Well, what time of year is it, folks? You hear it on the radio. You can bring this in and we'll match it and get you a car. Tax season. You don't hear it during Christmas because they know ain't nobody got no money to do nothing because they spending it on folks. You ain't gonna hear it during Thanksgiving because ain't nobody got no money to be spending it on folks. But you're gonna hear it right now because it's tax season, bruh. They know you got them dollars to make it through. For them to make it through. So that's why they're going to have a revival. Tell them, we're going to pray about your breakthrough. You just have to come, give me a $200 donation, $400 donation, whatever it may be. Matter of fact, you ain't got that. Get together with everybody else. Give me $100. I'm going to give you $100. And if I don't get a breakthrough,
I'm gonna break through your. Never mind.
Goes back to where is it? And it's sad because there's actually legitimate pastors out there that do work hard. And I'm talking about they work their job, they come home and they serve the flock. They're out there. I know. I know some person. I've seen some personally, and I also know some that this is church is their life. For whatever reason, church is their life. That's all they have. But they don't milk the flock, man. Because guess what? God is blessing them in other ways that they can't even explain it. If you don't believe it, if you expand what your eyesight, if you look beyond your tunnel vision, you'll see a lot of things happening that may be happening to you that you didn't realize. That's a blessing. That's actually happening. It may not be the blessing you asked for, but guess what? It's a blessing. Oh man, I'm gonna come up short on rent this month, or my mortgage is gonna be kind of short. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Well, I'll keep praying through it. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and some maybe it'll happen somewhere or another. It happens, man. I don't even know how I got it to this month. A month later, I'll keep going. I'll keep going. Something's happening, and then you sit there, God ain't never blessed me. Your mortgage got paid. This happened to you how? You ain't lost your job when everybody else getting laid off. Things happen that we don't see as a blessing because it's not what we want. It's what we need, but it's not what we want. It goes back to, again, with the churches, going back to the different churches. It's okay to shop churches. People do it all the time. We call it church hopping. It happens. A lot of times you go to a church, this ain't it. Go to another. This ain't it. But don't just go once. Sometimes you go and the wrong person's preaching. I will say that. A lot of times it won't be the main pastor preaching. It'll be a youth pastor or somebody else that doesn't have the power that you're looking for. And you got to come back. And then you come back and the actual pastor, you're like, well, when so-and-so preaches, I may not come to church that Sunday. I may go to visit somebody else. I may go, there's a holiday I wanted to take. I might go do something else. It happens. But
your soul is just as damned as the false prophet. So remember that. Use discernment. That's in the Bible. It literally says, I believe in Matthew, right? It talks about the false prophet. And if you're just as damned as following the prophet, who's a false prophet. And that's where, again, going back to what you said, where you have the freedom of choice. Everybody didn't have to follow John the Baptist, right?
Everybody didn't have to follow Jesus.
Everybody didn't have to follow Jesus, but there was 12 of them that did.
There's 12 that stayed steady and followed him to be.
Now, let's talk about real quick for a minute. Like, because in today's culture, they'll be considered what? The Gilbert Goons?
No, they wouldn't, because they didn't beat on people.
Oh,
they were innocent.
No, but what I'm saying is in today's climate, let's just say, right? Because he had thieves, he had pimps, he had hustlers, he had killers, he had pretty much everything under the sun, right?
Harlots.
That would be considered an organized crime unit. Like, that would be considered.
That's just a order.
No, but let's go back to what I was saying before.
Especially
you're not getting me dinged for that. That's not coming out your pocket. But at the end of the day, let's just think about it. Like, would Jesus be considered El Chapo?
Well, here's the thing. He wasn't. So I'm trying to think what I was going to say. Okay. Jesus being considered El Chapo. El Chapo, he took the money from who?
But he did what with the community and neighborhood and what he was doing, like,
because they were protecting him.
They were protecting them, but at the same time, he was giving them. They thrived, because of him. Like, that community, it wasn't as bad as other communities in Mexico was, right?
Exactly, because he protected them.
Exactly.
Now, did you want to talk about Jesus? You got to remember, who did he hang out with?
Thieves, pimps, players, hustlers, and harlots. He hung out with the us slums.
Actually, let's use the language, the unsavory crowd. We're going to use their language, the unsavory crowd. If you don't know what unsavory is, look it up. I don't have time to explain it. but he hung out with an unsavory crowd.
Bit of discretion for that one. Okay.
So, and if you don't understand that, that means he didn't hang out in Scottsdale. He hung out in South. That's a good idea. He didn't hang out in Scottsdale. He hung out in South Phoenix
Or Maryville.
or Maryville. Or hell, Levine's getting pretty bad apparently now. So I mean, yeah.
He hung out in the hood.
Yeah.
He did hood shit. Let's be real. Let's keep it a buck. Jesus hung out with real folks that did real stuff. But at the same time,
they not where he was needed the most.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, he changed their lives, he changed their souls, and he changed them as people.
Now, here is something that I thought about. I've never said this to anybody, and I'm saying this to you all that's watch, our 500 or 600, how many people we got subscribed. When I think about what Jesus was doing, the reason why he went to the ones that needed him most, because of their status in society.
Because they're spoiled and ungrateful.
You knew where I was going. You already knew where I was going. That's exactly where I was going. He went there because they needed him most, because he knew they would listen. They wouldn't challenge. They would understand what he was saying, understand where it's coming from, because he's one of them. You can't take somebody from the slums, put him in Scottsdale, and they still look like they're from the slums.
Or you can't take somebody from Scottsdale and put them in the slums.
And yeah, exactly. You can ride those, but it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line.
Now, when we talk about religion, are we talking about history at the same time?
It ties in together, doesn't it?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Now, let's stay right there for a second, right? History has taught us that Jesus was a white man with blue eyes.
No.
History, let me fix that. So, what's the word I want to use?
The Anglo-Saxon history.
Media. Propaganda. What's another word? You guys get where I'm going at. They wanted to pick
Spaniards.
They wanted to pick the man
Spaniards
of fair color and blue eyes,
Spaniards
and pale lips as the savior of man, right? They're wrong. Because when you talk about a man that had hair like wool, that doesn't sound like a Spaniard or a white dude to me. It sounds like almost like a to me. I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it just because
it's like either Middle Eastern, even African. Think about Cleopatra. Think about. I'm going to mention some people in history. I'd say
Cleopatra was a black woman. Let's just be real.
Medusa
was a black woman.
They all came from the same area as Jesus, but he's
let me go back. They were not black; they were Moors.
But
I'm sorry.
Let's not. They're still by the color of their skin. What color? If you want to go by the modern day U.S. nation,
notice what you say. The U.S. nation classification of what they call us.
Yeah.
Black people. It's classification, folks. It's not who you really are. But go ahead.
Yeah. So you want to talk about that, but either way. Same classification as Jesus too, right? Because he came from the same area, but all of a sudden he's supposed to be the only white guy with blue eyes and long brown hair.
Y'all pray to that false.
Actually, no, you can't say that. You can. That's you're going down that line, but you're going the wrong way. They don't necessarily play to the vision of what they see. They're playing to the spiritual entity of who he is.
But you're playing in your mind, when you're picturing this person, you're picturing.
So you're going to tell everybody that when they're picturing Jesus, he looks like the brown-haired, blue-eyed
person. He's supposed to.
Is he supposed to, or is that what you want?
That's what it says in the book. But okay, if you want to say it that way, if we're going to go biblically, what the word says, it doesn't say that he was pale skinned, right?
And it doesn't say you should be praying to Jesus either.
Right. It does say you should pray to Allah, which is another term, which means God. Same thing. Not Jesus. You're absolutely right.
Or, I mean, some people, what they'll say, Lord God is the Father of Jesus, or they say Jesus, the Son of God. They start off with that too. But at the same time, so what you're telling me, everyone that says they pray to Jesus, they're praying to the brown-haired, blue-eyed guy. That's what you're saying.
They're not supposed to be praying to that person to begin with.
What you're saying is they're praying to that guy, even not having anybody to verify who they're praying to. You're going to say that. That's why I said you're towing that line where we're trying to say what people are doing. We don't know what they're doing. I'm going to be the first one to say we don't know who they're praying to. We know that eventually it gets to the right person. You might have left the voicemail.
Shut up.
You might have left the voicemail. It'll answer it at some point in time, right?
It'll answer it at some point.
Or they say, "Oh, this is the wrong number." Send it back to you. So you do it again. Send you a text message. You send you a text message.
I'm done.
I'm sorry. The person trying to reach you, that's not right. You need to call this number. You need to pray to this person.
That would be something if somebody actually comes up with a hotline number just like the song.
I'm done. I shouldn't do it.
I know, bro. Call on the main line. Tell them what you want.
Call them on the main line. Hello.
Hey, yeah. Hello.
Who's this?
This is Jesus.
I didn't think he was. I thought he was African. I didn't think he was. You know what's the right number?
Oh shit.
What you need, bro?
Oh, I got what you need. Hold on. No, this
Is it old music?
No, this ain't.
Is that Ice Cube?
This is Judah. Hold on 1 second. This is Judas.
Oh, we need Jehovah. Oh, hold on. Wait. Is that Tupac?
Oh Lord, no. Oh man. Oh man.
In all seriousness.
All seriousness, I'm done. I'm done. There's no seriousness no more, bro.
That I will not say that people are saying, they're praying. I'm not saying they're praying to this. That you gotta remember, God appears in the vision that makes you most comfortable. So if that's what you're comfortable seeing, that's fine. I don't know that. I don't know who you're praying to. I don't know what kind of vision you have of God. I don't know what kind of vision you have of Jesus. All we know is the historical depiction and MGM studios and movies and theaters has been wrong up to this point, because there's a new movie that came out that depicted, what is the name of the movie? Oh, I wish my wife could text me, I forgot. But there's a new movie that was done by a black man that depicted, it's the Book of something. I can't remember what it's called.
The Book of Clarence?
Yes, thank you. The Book of Clarence.
I've seen
which
that.
I do highly suggest people to go watch it, because now here's the thing. But here's the thing. It was big on the indie circuit and big on
won awards
Cannes Festival.
The Independent Film Festival.
Yeah, it won a lot of awards.
It did. Sure did. Because I got a friend that actually is a movie producer that submits for the IFF, and she told me to look at that. Yeah, and
So I'm telling y'all right now, go look at the Book of Clarence. That's more or less, I think, closely related to the depiction of Jesus, what he should be.
And not the white people version of Mel Gibson's The Book of Christ.
What?
I mean,
Passion of Christ.
Passion of Christ. Yeah, I said The Book of Christ. The Passion of Christ is a good movie. Don't get me wrong. Historically speaking, but ethically speaking, it did not match to me.
Ethnically. So here's my thing with that. Mel Gibson made the movie not because of ethnics, but he wanted to tell a story. He told a hell of a good story. And there was supposed to part 2 that's supposed to come out, I think, this year, but didn't make it out. Or maybe next year. I don't know. It's supposed to come out at some point on part 2.
Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad movie. It's a great film.
It's a great depiction.
For entertainment.
But here's the thing. Jewish people still mad no matter what. They got mad at Book of Clarence. They got mad at Passion of Christ. Matter of fact, for years, they tried to find something on Mel Gibson, and they can't. But the star of that movie ended up making a television show and then a movie that my wife and I watched last year, The Sound of Freedom, about the child trafficking, sex trafficking for children. So The Sound of Freedom. If you have not seen that, I know we're plugging movies right now. That one just gives you an idea of Jim Caviezel. That's who played the Jesus and Passion of Christ. Go watch that. go watch The Sound of Freedom. I don't care what race you are, what color of your skin, watch that, and it's going to have an effect you. As a matter of fact, if you have children, it's going to make you hug your children. It's going to make you, trust me, watch that movie and the impact of child sex trafficking. And this is why when we talked about last week about the list being released, I think it's all predicated on that movie. The movie gave them no choice. We have to release this list. And then they tried to show the movie. They had some movie theaters that wouldn't play the movie because of what it was about. You had some people saying it's a full movie theater. We can't sell you tickets, and people will walk in and it was empty. How true that was, I don't know, but I do know there were several people saying, "I'm going to go watch the movie." They told me I couldn't. Tell me what's wrong with the movie, or the air was off the movie theater. So that'll tell you something. If media is trying to stop you from watching a movie about child sex trafficking, that means you need to watch it. Every ticket you bought went to every ticket you bought for that movie, it went to a fund that supplied to people to go see the movie free. Now, I know we dropped a lot on y'all right now. I think we need to take a break. And then we'll come, maybe lighten the mood.
It's the start of 2024 and you're looking for new heat to kick off the year? That's when J-Dub the King steps in. His hot new single, You Gon' Know Me, produced by the Mechanics, features the talented Yuckmouth and Drew, is set to take the music world by storm. This anticipated single is set to release in January and will be available on all digital platforms. The countdown has officially begun. So while we wait for the release, follow at J-Dub the King on social media and be the first to know about all the updates, behind the scenes sneak peeks, and more. It's time to usher in 2024 with the hottest new single on the block.
On the block. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew. So, what a show it's been so far. Good conversation, good comments, good interaction. Now let's go to sports with hockey.
Before I say that, what I want y'all to remember this year, we want to educate your mind and your health, right? So I've been dealing. That just sounds that's disturbing. That's really disturbing. But so just know that's you're just thinking, man, you got to get a different tone. We're hitting hot topics, things that we don't really talk about much. Yeah, because you know what, this year, as we grow, we want you to grow. As we get healthier, wealthier, with physical wealth, with emotional wealth, we want you to do the same.
Stop sugarcoating it. At the end of the day, we tired of the bullshit, and we just gonna say what we gotta say, and y'all gonna like it.
Well, I mean, dang, we still gonna say it. I mean, that's what it boils down to. It needs to be said. If it makes you feel uncomfortable,
good.
There you go. Now, sports. Boy, that was a way to go into sports, wasn't it? It sure was. Y'all know what week it is. We are 2 weeks away. 2 after Sunday.
Oh, I forgot about this movie.
I didn't think about that.
You did?
I just didn't think it was a good movie. I didn't think it was a good movie.
Whether it was a good movie or not.
It was telling a good story.
Yeah. It talks about the Negro Messiah. Period. I mean, and I honestly forgot about that.
But I knew you went Blair Underwood.
Yeah. But we know it. Yeah. Also,
Eastwood's cousin. He's supposed to be a cousin under. Y'all bring me back in. We're supposed to be going to sports, y'all. We got 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You know what? Truly, have you been checking on Mike, man? Because I know the Bears were going through it. I mean, they don't even know what they're going to do. You ain't lying. Ain't nobody care. In case y'all don't understand what it says, man, don't nobody care nothing about the Ashkenazi. It's true. That is so true. But you know what? Sports wise, we got 2 weeks, y'all. We have the AFC Championship and during early, and we have NFC Championship later. Get your picks in. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions beat the 49ers. Because now with Deebo Samuel out, that's going to be a thing to watch. Well, he's 50-50, but I think if he gets one more good hit on that shoulder, he may be out to the Super Bowl. On the Ravens side,
I'm still going San Francisco over the Lions by 3.
on the Ravens side, Mark Andrews is playing this week. He's back. He's back. But here's the thing that's going to change the tone. So the best part of the Ravens starts with the interior line. The best player on the Chiefs line is out on Sunday.
I'm started about this game.
And I saw that come through today. I just started licking my chops for him. I'm like,
since we're on football real quick, shout out to Jim Harbaugh.
yeah, 5 years with I'm about to say San Diego. God dang, I need a shot. Not saying the Los Angeles Chargers got Jim Harbaugh, which I thought he would go NFC to play his brother in the Super Bowl again, but I guess he wants to be in the AFC too. There's no NFC team that won.
I guess the Chargers gave him an offer that.
Yes,
and I think I told you I could see him going from Michigan to LA. Didn't I tell you that? I'm like he's going to be in the sunshine, either LA or Florida.
Yeah, remember my thing was I was like either LA or oh my gosh. Not Vegas. What was the other team?
It was another warm climate state, though. I remember that. It wasn't no, it was a dome team. I can't remember which one it was.
Atlanta, that's what it was. LA or Atlanta.
I wanted to say Atlanta, but I think Bill Belichick's gonna go to Atlanta or New Orleans.
Well, the thing is New Orleans doesn't have an opening. You keep saying New Orleans. They did not fire the coach.
They're going to for Bill Belichick. I would. Shit.
Here's the thing. What y'all got to here's something that I think about very deeply about Bill Belichick. I think the game as a whole, as a head coach, is past him by.
You think he's done?
Look at the picks they have made in New England. The picks he has made in New England. How many have worked out? Receiver, quarterback. Matt Jones, I don't really call that a bad pick, but it's not a great pick.
Fair enough.
He's had a different offensive coordinator just about every year. He had people teaching him how to play offensive coordinator. They never coached offense. Like how? Fair enough. How does it work? I've coached offense in my life. I've been a defensive coordinator my whole career. I'm coaching offense. Well, you know what? Let me go to Madden and see if I can put a playbook together because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just going. Or maybe go back and look at the previous years and see if I can put something together.
But yeah, it's a good look for Jim. I knew he was coming back to the NFL. I just didn't know when.
Now here's something.
And he went out on top. He won a state chair, NCAA championship with Michigan.
For his alma mater.
Yeah, went out on top. You know what I mean? And now, what a way to end your college career.
But beyond all that, here's the thing with football that I want to talk about. It's been debated everywhere, and I want to debate it here. What is the difference between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen?
I don't like that comparison. And I really don't like it because at the end of the day, Josh Allen to me isn't in the conversation of face of the league like Lamar Jackson is. He's not. And now if you was to do, we talked about this, if you was to bring the comparison between Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson and a Patrick Mahomes or something like that, okay, I can see where some arguments would come from, but for me, I don't see Josh Allen in that topic of conversation of space.
Okay, so I'm not talking about face of the league. Here's where I'm going. So raise your hand if each of them are running quarterback. Both of them run. Raise your hand if they got strong arms. Raise your hand if they come from outstanding pedigrees, both of them.
Where are you going with it?
Raise your hand if you think the criticism about Jackson is totally unfair. What's the criticism? He keeps playing like that. He ain't going to last but 7 years. Playing like what? Staying in the pocket and trying to make passes? I don't think that's right. Josh Allen will sit there. He puts his body on the line 24/7. He runs and he runs with reckless abandon into defensive players. Does Lamar Jackson do that? Hell no, he never has. He knows how to avoid getting hit hard, and he knows how to go with the hit. How many times we see Josh Allen on the report talking about, his throwing shoulders hurt, and you can see the difference in the game when he can't throw the ball. Unfortunately, with Lamar Jackson, for 2 years straight, he had knee injuries, but not from going outside of the pocket, but from staying inside the pocket. But the notion is, he outside the pocket. If he keeps doing that, he's going to get hurt. He's not going to have a career. He's not going to be able to do this for his career. But Josh Allen does it. There's not the same criticism. That's what I'm getting at. The difference is this right here. Lamar Jackson looks like me and you. That's the difference. He will never be the fixer lead because he looks like me and you. He's a boy from South Florida that came from his background. Single mom raised him, from what I understand. And look at him now. He's a millionaire, and who knows what he's doing with money. He knows his brand.
I would make the difference say that he is the face of the league right now, even though the NFL powers that be don't like that. I would say he is somewhat of the face of the league because he right now, from my standards, him and Patrick Mahomes have the hottest selling jerseys that's out right now. Kids that go out and play football, they want to be like Patrick Mahomes, or you got some that sprinkle in whoever, but
it's Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. They want to be the super athlete, the best player on the field, or they want to be the best arm, the most accurate. The man that you put him in clutch, it's just like.
Now, going to that, game on the line. Who are you giving the ball? Who would you rather have the ball, Lamar or Patrick?
Okay, so here's going to take it up a notch. What weapons are we talking about? If you're talking about Lamar and Baltimore's offense versus Mahomes and Kansas City's offense, is that what we're talking about? We're talking about
let's intermingle their weapons. Let's say that Patrick Mahomes has ODB or OBJ.
So OBJ with Kelsey?
Yep.
And then who's Lamar got? With Flowers
and Andrews. Yeah. Let's mix it up.
Well, see, the OBJ hasn't showed up in the clutch, so I'm going to give that to Lamar.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Actually, I want to say, you know what? Regardless of the weapon, I still go Lamar. You want to know why? Because his legs make a huge difference.
I was hoping you would say that.
When people will say that Patrick does it in the playoffs, Lamar does it even when you know what's going to happen. He still does it. Look, like last week, and what I think I liked about last week is that Lamar came out and he said after the halftime speech, I can't tell y'all what I said because there was so much profanity in there.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, that shows me he's always had that in him. It was just everybody else doing it. Now he's got the money. He's like, well, you know what? Let me speak up. Let me do what I need. Let me do what I'm supposed to do. He told the Ravens, give me weapons. They got him weapons. Now look at him. The man's unstoppable. He really is.
Like I said, my Super Bowl pitch is still going down San Francisco and Baltimore.
And remember I said, so as we all know, a few weeks ago, I had jumped on the Cowboys train for about this much. I said, okay, I see the Cowboys Ravens and the Ravens stomping them in the Super Bowl. Well, just so that I think the Packers overheard me and they decided to stomp them out in the first round. And the coach still had a job. I don't know how that.
I don't know.
But I will not be surprised to see the Lions in the Ravens.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying I would be shocked.
Because I wouldn't be surprised. It's lining up right now for the Lions to play 3. Now, here's my problem is We already stopped both of them, and I don't want that to happen again. But who's going to stop it?
If San Francisco goes, y'all ain't gonna do the slacking the way that.
Here's what people I want you to understand. When it came to yardage, San Francisco overdid the Ravens in yardage. But the problem is, it don't matter about the yards; it's the turnovers. And how are you going to stop that?
Facts.
How are you going to stop that?
And at the end of the day, if you got a close game with no turnovers, like what was the game that was the Kansas City game? That was a hell of a game. No penalties or not?
No, with penalties.
No,
not turnovers.
No turnovers.
Well, actually, no. We take that back.
There was no turnover.
There was a turnover, and there was 2 fumbles.
The only turnover there was 1 turnover, 2 fumbles, right?
1 interception. That's all turnovers. There's 3 turnovers total.
Okay. The interception is what I'm talking about. Okay. As far as that turnover, and going back, there wasn't any punts in that game until like the 4th quarter, late in the 3rd quarter, beginning of the 4th quarter. So they were scoring back to back on each other, right? All of a sudden, there's that interception. That was key. And then the missed field goal. Dude, you have one job to do. I was hoping that the Bills would have beat the Chiefs, so it would have been Bills Ravens for the AFC Championship. That's what I wanted to see, right?
So
I wanted to see that.
So you never asked me. You never really asked me about that. What I wanted to see.
I did.
I have a different reason for wanting to see that matchup because of that right there. How they hold Lamar Jackson one standard and Josh Allen to another. I really want to see Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen knock the crap out of Josh Allen. If it sounds personal, it kind of is because that's just the way I look at it. That's just the way between. I can't stand because they're in the same draft. That's why they're always going to be compared. They're out of the same draft. So it's always going to have that comparison. The Ravens traded back into that draft to draft Lamar Jackson, the 31st pick. That's what they did. They got him, and now they have, to some people, the greatest athlete on the field. To others, again, the top 5 quarterback. Is it the same thing? Not really. But if you understand what I'm saying, is it?
Well, folks, another week, another great episode. Make sure you guys watch this back. Oh, FY, we are. Should we announce it now?
Actually, yeah. We're on Spreaker.
No, that's necessary. Spreaker. We're going to be on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. There's some other ones that we're going to be on as well. Let's look here. We're going to be on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Playlists or Podcasts, as well as 3 other audio podcasting. So make sure that you tune in on us on the go.
You good, man?
I'm not.
You can stutter all the way through that.
Hey,
so basically what he's saying is we're expanding the platform so we can reach the masses.
More ways than one.
More ways than one. We appreciate y'all. Y'all did this. We didn't. Y'all did this. y'all encouraged us to do this. And
so catch us on iHeartRadio. Catch us on Spotify. Catch us. See Alpha Salute. Chulu Salute. You're actually our first episode that we have on iHeartRadio right
now. Yeah, we put that one up there about trading of gold and silver and things like that. Now, you know what? Real quick. I don't care if y'all know, but they actually now have NFL silver.
Oh, I saw that.
With the piece of NFL the football in it, which is pretty good. You can get your favorite team.
I'm looking into that. I want to see how, and it's actual currency. Yes, it's real currency
with the NFL logos.
You can use it to go
football and game day footballs too. So it's a limited edition. I don't know why we told them because now we gotta get out before they get there.
You should have got it before you told them.
But either way, I'm not gonna tell you where to find it.
Either way, folks, we'll see you next week. Y'all have
you can't have any. We put you on the no list.
Why do you always do that?
Well, because you gonna buy it all up if we don't stop them.